Battle through the heavens, grand world. Chapter 123 Pill Gift. Xiao Yan. When Bai Qian saw the man in front of her, no matter how calm Bai Qian was, she cried out in shock. She did not even react when Xiao Yan grabbed her arm and put it down. Xiao Yan looked at Bai Qian and made a reassuring gesture to the latter. After which, he looked at the fat young man with a gloomy face. The latter looked at Xiao Yan and Bai Qian, who were wearing the same alchemist robe. He rubbed his wrist, which still had some pain, and said with a cold smile. So you are an alchemist from the same city. Why? Do you want a hero to save the damsel in distress? The young man who blocked Bai Qian also came to the fat young man's side. He took a closer look at the alchemist robe worn by Xiao Yan and Bai Qian. He couldn't help but laugh and said disdainfully. I was wondering who he was. I didn't expect him to be a trash from the Spirit Sky City. Is it because he didn't want to embarrass himself enough and wants to carry another one back? Spirit Sky City. The fat youth pondered for a moment when he heard this. Then, he laughed out loud as well. Then, he turned his lecherous eyes to Bai Qian, who was standing beside Xiao Yan, and said, although Spirit Sky City is trash when it comes to alchemy, the quality of this beautiful alchemist is also very high. Then he looked at Xiao Yan and said playfully, let that woman accompany us brothers for a few days. During the competition, I will help you easily advance to the first round. How about it? Quote. Xiao Yan blocked Bai Qian, who was clenching her teeth tightly, and said with a smile. Help me easily advance to the first round. What a big tone. Tell me, how can you help me? Xiao Yan couldn't help but laugh in his heart when he saw the two clowns' performance. We are the alchemists of Ningxing City, and this is senior brother Yu Qiang, the most talented alchemist in Ningxing City. His soul strength had already reached the alien realm, and he could easily refine a tier 4 medicine pill. Last time in the pill competition, the alchemists of our Ningxing City were ranked 8th. This time, with senior brother Yu Qiang's ability, you might even be able to make it into the top 5, allowing you to make it into the first round. Isn't it easy for him to make it into the first round? Another youth heard Xiao Yan's words and pointed at the fat youth beside him and said proudly. Bai Qian, who was standing behind Xiao Yan, heard his words and her expression changed slightly. She gritted her teeth and did not expect that fellow to have such strength. She could not help but look at Xiao Yan who was standing in front of her. Seeing that the latter's expression did not change at all, Bai Qian's mood inexplicably calmed down. Top 5, he does have some strength. Xiao Yan suddenly smiled playfully and said. But I want to get the first place in pill competition. If you two can help me get it easily, then this will be easy to discuss, right? What? Yu Qiang, who had a smug look on his face, heard what Xiao Yan said, and his expression became extremely ugly. He looked at Xiao Yan with an irrepressible anger burning in his eyes. Are you trying to fool me? The smile on Xiao Yan's face suddenly turned cold. His body suddenly moved and appeared in front of Yu Qiang in the blink of an eye. Without any hesitation, he threw a punch at Yu Qiang's abdomen. Yu Qiang was caught off guard and was hit by Xiao Yan's full force. Instantly, he felt a heart-piercing pain in his abdomen. His body flew backwards and he kept spitting out blood along the way. With Xiao Yan's current strength, even an ordinary peak of monarch spirit wouldn't dare to face a full-force attack from him, let alone Yu Qiang, who was only a 2-star monarch spirit. You, senior disciple Yu. The young man was startled by Xiao Yan's sudden fierceness. When he saw Yu Qiang struggling painfully on the ground, he broke out in a cold sweat and hastily ran over. That's right, I was just playing with you. You only realized it now. Xiao Yan sneered, then he looked at the youth with a face full of sweat and said with a smile. I heard you guys talking about some treasure just now. Take it out, and treat it as compensation for your senior brother's cheap hands. Xiao Yan's smile was as terrifying as a devil in the eyes of this young man. He immediately swallowed a mouthful of saliva, gritted his teeth and said, my senior brother is unconscious, what compensation do you need? Unconscious. If this was somewhere outside, he would have died a long time ago. Cut the crap and bring it out. Xiao Yan looked at the unconscious Yu Qiang and said indifferently. Hearing Xiao Yan's cold words, the young man's heart trembled violently. It was also a young man who wasn't even 20 years old. This fellow's disposition was even more vicious than all the other young men he had met. Clenching his teeth, the young man unwillingly took out a dark green jade box from his storage ring. He handed it to Xiao Yan and showed it to Bai Qian. Seeing the latter nod, Xiao Yan chuckled and said, "Take him back to rest for 3 days. Maybe he can join the pill competition. Also, tell him to restrain himself a little in the future. If it was somewhere else, it won't be as simple as fainting. After all, not everyone is like me. Be soft-hearted." With a few soft laughs, Xiao Yan took the dark green jade box and walked in front of the dumbstruck Bai Qian. He said, "Let's go." Ah, Bai Qian subconsciously agreed. In her mind, she still remembered Xiao Yan's thunderous means just now. Since she entered the Alchemist Guild. When she was young, she had never seen such violent means. When she accidentally saw Wei Jun enter her teacher's residence with blood all over his body, deep in her heart, she began to strongly reject violence. This was also the reason why she hated the existence of Black Region, but now, Xiao Yan's thunderous means made it impossible for her to reject him. This is the end. Our eldest senior brother is injured to such an extent. The chairman will surely be furious. Bastard of the Spirit Sky City. Just you wait. Looking at Xiao Yan and Yu Qiang's departing figures, the young man roared in a low voice. After that, he lifted Yu Qiang and left with great difficulty. "What's inside?" Xiao Yan asked curiously as he fiddled with the dark green jade box in his hand. Bai Qian looked at Xiao Yan with a complicated look. Her voice was as cold as usual. "There is a green pattern pill inside. It can be considered a tier 4 and 5-star medicine pill. I found it in the pill pavilion. I was just about to buy it, but those 2 fellows snatched it away first, and then it became what you saw. Green pattern pill. Good stuff." Xiao Yan was slightly startled. The effect of the green pattern pill was extremely useful to Monarch Spirit medicine pills. It could increase the absorption speed of the Origin Monarch Key in a short period of time, and it would bring unimaginable benefits to one's cultivation. Bai Qian smiled when she heard this. After pondering for a moment, she said, "You just said that you want to get first place, is that true?" Xiao Yan pondered for a moment and still nodded. "That's right. No matter what, I have to get first place. If that's the case, I'll give you this green pattern pill. Although you're strong, you're still only a monarch spirit. The Origin Monarch Key in your body is still limited. If you raise your grade by 1 point, the chances of you winning will increase by 1 point." Bai Qian smiled and said in a soft voice. Her cold temperament was indescribably attractive. Xiao Yan smiled awkwardly when he heard this. Although he was tempted, the value of this thing was not cheap. If he really took it for free, Xiao Yan would not be able to bear it. However, if he were to use the Monarch Crystal to buy it, he would need at least hundreds of thousands of Monarch Crystals. To the current Xiao Yan, this was also a huge sum of money. Similarly, he could not bear to take it out. Seemingly seeing Xiao Yan's embarrassment, Bai Qian laughed and said, "Take it. You won the championship not only for you, but also for the Spirit Sky City. You should also see how the alchemists of other cities look down on the Spirit Sky City along the way." Xiao Yan nodded his head when he heard her. He put away the jade box and suddenly said, "Where is the pill pavilion you mentioned just now?" Bai Qian looked at Xiao Yan and said, "Where is the pill house? You want to go? Of course. Observing more medicine pills will give you some inspiration for the competition in a few days." "That's right. Let's go. I'll bring you there." Bai Qian smiled when she heard this. She turned around and walked back the way she came. Xiao Yan hurriedly followed. In the alchemist station, when Shi Shen saw the unconscious disciple, his blood rushed to his head. He angrily said, "Ji Yun, this bastard, he actually ordered his disciples to kill people. How can a tiny spirit Sky City be turned upside down?" When the young man who carried the girl saw this, he hurriedly fanned the flames and said, "Teacher, you don't know, that guy looked down on our limestone city and even mocked you. You must help us seek justice." Shi Shen let out a long breath, calmed himself down, and said, "Just you wait, I will go to the Spiritual Sky City's Alchemist Association's chairman now to react. If something happens in his territory, I want to see how he will explain it to me." "Ah, aren't you going to look for Ji Yun directly?" Hearing his teacher's words, the young man could not hide his disappointment. There can't be any conflict between the leaders. Do I have to lower my status to find trouble with that kid? Don't worry. Based on what they've done, it wouldn't be an exaggeration to remove their spots for the competition. As he spoke, Shi Shen walked out of the room. Excluding the qualification to participate in the competition. Hee, that's good too. At least I got rid of a formidable opponent for eldest senior brother. The young man's heart trembled slightly when he recalled Xiaoyan's powerful soul energy. Chapter end. Hi guys, please like, comment, share, and subscribe.